everybody, I'm Lorelei, the cat person from outer space, and today we are going to check out Umineko. This was suggested by one of you guys, and thank you for that. And I've heard many good things about it, including that it's very long. I also know that it's a murder mystery, so I'm pretty excited about that. Without further ado, let's just get right into it.
またお酒をたしなまれましたな。
The old physician lets out a sigh as he removed the stethoscope. Two elderly men could be seen in a dimly lit study, which was filled with dust and a sickly sweet stench. In the corner of this room, which was much larger than what most people would call a study, there was an expensive-looking bed, men undergoing a medical examination, and a physician conducting it. There was also what appeared to be a servant watching over the whole scene. I wonder where we are.
酒は我が友だ。お前に負けぬ友人であり、そしてお前よりも付き合いが長い。
The man who had bared his chest for the stethoscope spoke unapologetically as he straightened out his clothes.
金蔵さん、
Why is it green?
あんたの体が一見調子がいいのは薬が効いてるからだ。だが、そんな強い酒を飲み続けては薬の意味もなくなってしまう。悪いことは言わん。酒は控えなさい。
忠告の気持ちだけはありがたくいただいておく。我が友よ。
He sounds kind of sarcastic.
源氏、もう一杯頼む。心持ち薄めでな。南條の顔も立ててやれ。
よろしいのですか。
After eyeing both the master who demanded the alcohol and his doctor who forbade it, Genji, the old butler, silently gave a slight nod and carried out his master's orders faithfully. Nanjo, the man's personal doctor, lets out a deep sigh once again as he watched the butler busy himself alongside the liquor cabinet. There was a smell filling up the room. This sweet, poisonous aroma felt as though it melted the heart, if not the soul itself. It was the smell of that venomous green drink that a man couldn't bring himself to part from. Green? Alcohol is green?
南條、お前は私の長きにわたる親友だ。今日まで私をながらえさせてくれたことを深く感謝する。
私は何も。医者としての忠告など金蔵さんは全く聞いてくれませんからな。
He's angry too.
お前とて差し間違えた手を待てと言っても聞かぬではないか。ならば愛子というものだろう。
親方様。
すまぬ。薬は切れても死にはせんが、こいつが切れては死んでしまうでな。
With one eye on Nanjo, who had his face set in a resigned expression, Kinzo took the glass that Genji was holding out to him. There are probably very few people who would associate the venomous color which filled the glass with an alcoholic beverage.
南條、正直に話せ。私の命はあとどの程度持つ。
さて、どのくらいと申し上げればそのお酒を控えてくれますやら。
Nanjo once again lets out a sigh of resignation. As he watched Kinzo down the glass regardless, he spoke.
長くはありませんな。
どの程度に長くないというのだ。
このチェスで例えましょう。
Why?
金蔵さんの爪もなかなかですが、私のキングを追い詰めるには至りますまい。
Nanjo's gaze was directed at a side table with a stately chess set placed on top of it. Judging by the position of the pieces, the match was well into the endgame. The black rook and bishop were cutting deeply into the enemy lines. The white king had already been castled and cornered, so that even an amateur could see that the match would reach its conclusion before too long. Every time Nanjo came to give a medical examination, both of them would make a few moves. Nanjo was stating with confidence that Kinzo would most likely fall into his eternal sleep before this game could be concluded. These were less the words of a physician than they were the words of an old friend.
普通の患者になら遺言を書くよう勧める頃です。
遺言とはなんだ南條。私の屍をどのように食い散らかせとハゲタカどもに指南する書き置きなのか。
いや、違いますぞ。遺言は意思を残すことだ。遺産分配のことだけを書くものじゃない。
ほう、遺産分配以外に書くこととは何なのか。
心残りややり残し、受け継いでほしいことや伝えたいこと、何でもいいんです。
受け継いでほしいことや伝えたいことだと？バカバカしい。この後ろ宮金蔵、後に残したいことも伝えたいこともただの一つもないわ。裸一貫で生まれ、そして裸一貫で死ぬ。バカ息子どもに残したいものなど何一つないわ。
Why is he so angry?
もしも訪れる最後が今日だとしても、今だとしても、私は何も恐れることなくその死の運命を受け入れようではないか。
金蔵さん、
全てを築き上げた。富も名誉も全てだ。それらは私と共に築き上げられ、私と共に失われよう。後に残してやるものなど何もないわ。何もない。あとは野となれ山となれ。
Well, it's kind of true. I mean, after you die, you can't bring, that money with you. But he has his children.
墓も棺も何も望まぬわ。それが魔女と私の契約だ。
Wait, which?
私が死ぬ時に全てを失う。初めからその約束だからこそ何も残らぬのだ。
Now I'm confused.
何も残せぬのだ。
After reaching a furious crescendo, Kinzo suddenly slumped over. He died? His expression was limp and feeble, as though an evil spirit had possessed him and then left.
だが未練はある。残すものは何一つないが、残したまま行けぬものが一つだけある。
それを書き記せばいい。もちろん生きているうちにこなせればそれでいい。だが万一の時、残されたものがそれを引き継いでくれる。自分に万一があっても必ずその心残りが解決できるように残していく。それが遺言というものです。
When Nanjo tried to gently pat Kinzo's shoulder, the dying man flew into a sudden rage and batted away Nanjo's hand.
ダメだダメだダメだ。私が生きているうちでなくてはならぬ。私は死ねば魂はすぐに契約の悪魔に食らわれて消え去ってしまう。
I feel like I was thrown headfirst into something I don't know about. But demons and witches? Damn.
死後の世界も安らぎも私にはないのだ。だから全ては私が生きているうちでなければならぬ。だから遺言状など私には必要ない。そのようなものを書く暇があったなら、私は見たい。もう一度見たい。 ベアトリーチェの微笑む顔がもう一度見たい。はあ、ベアトリーチェ、なぜに私をこれほどまでに拒むのか。
Just realized, but the name is in all caps.
今こそお前に与えられた全てを返そう。全てを失おう。だから最後にもう一度だけお前の美少を見せてくれ。ベアトリーチェ、頼む、交渉だ。聞こえているはずだ。お前はそういう女だ。頼む、姿を見せてくれ。いるんだろう。聞こえていながら姿を消し、今もこの部屋のどこかで私を嘲笑っているのだろう。
Is she a ghost or something?
私の前にもう一度現れてくれ。そして微笑んでくれ。なじってくれてもいい。望むならお前の手で私の命を奪ってくれてもいい。このまま一人で死にたくない。お前の微笑みを再び一目見るまでは絶対に死ねないのだ。ああ、ベアトリーチェ、ベアトリーチェ、この命はくれてやる。お前にくれてやる。五章だ、ベアトリーチェ。
I thought it was a jump scare. There's so many things happening. The first day, October 4th, 1986.
へえ、時代ってやつは進歩してんな。たったの20分でついちまったんだから驚いちまうぜ。
I couldn't help but scratch my head and marvel at how far things have come in recent years. We used to go by boat. Back then, we were all forced to endure nearly half a day of swaying back and forth over the sea before we reached Nijima. Things have gotten so much more convenient these days. Still, I've never been on a plane this small. I've flown in a huge jumbo jet before, but this will be my first experience in such a tiny one. It's going to shake, isn't it? They say that smaller boats shake more, so I guess the same rule probably applies to planes. Just spare me.
大丈夫だよ、バトラー君。
My name is Battler.
船に比べたら全然揺れは少ないよ。
うわ、ジョージの兄貴かよ。急に勘弁してくれよ。今ので寿命が3年縮んじまったぜ。 つーか、揺れってなんすか？別に俺は飛行機も揺れんのかな、まさか落ちたりしねえかななんて夢にも思っちゃいないぜ。
This is really funny.
ごめんごめん。もう小さい頃とは違うよね。あれから6年も経ってるんだし、もうバトラ君も子供じゃないか。
じゃあ、兄貴はタバコも酒も OK ってかよ。タバコは興味ねえけど、酒は飲んでみたいよな。兄貴なんか、おじさんの遺伝子あんなら相当飲めちゃいそうだけど。
僕の場合は、好きで飲むというよりは仕事で飲む方が多いからね。日本のビジネスは酒抜きでは難しいよ。
I just realized, but isn't this George, the guy who looked like he was kinda dead in the intro? We'll see.
そうっすよね。だから俺も、今晩の夕食あたりに初挑戦してみようかなって。
ダメだよ。バトラ君はまだ未成年じゃないか。
He's still a minor? What?
未成年の飲酒は発育に悪影響を及ぼす可能性が、って、
こんだけタッパがありゃ、俺の発育は十分っすから。むしろ、ちょいと身長縮めた方が服が探しやすいくらい。
I puffed up my chest proudly. Until I hit my growth spurt, my height was below average in my class. But then, I grew and grew, and before I knew it, I was over 180 cm. I guess I have all that muscle training and those shady mail order performance enhancing drugs to thank for that. Excuse me? Performance enhancing drugs? Before that, I never dreamed that I'd shoot 10 centimeters over George Aniki, who'd reached his peak height early on. Damn, I'll bet my relatives all say, "Look how big you've grown, Betla-chan," or something. That kind of thing is really embarrassing, so I hope they cut me a break. Anyway, my name, Battler. Well, it's pretty damn weird, don't you think? I've got to wonder what my parents were thinking when they gave me that name. I've never met anyone who could read it right the first time. I think I'm not even reading it right. I usually get called Sento-kun. It's green again. Too bad. Swing and a miss. My name is written something something something. Can you read it? The first part is my family name, Ushiromiya. That's a fairly plausible Japanese pronunciation so far. The problem is my name. It's made up of the characters for fight and person, and it's pronounced Battler. Really? Then I wonder what George is made out of. Put it all together and you've got Ushiromiya Battler. Pretty crazy, right? It's crazy enough that my parents decided to call me that, but it's even more crazy that some government worker let them make it official. Both groups at the top of my must-kill list. Anyway, this is one of my cousins. His name is pronounced Ushiromiya George. He's 5 years older than me, so he's probably turning 23 this year. So I'm 18, or more like Battler is 18. Since the Ushiromiya cousins consist of 2 boys and 3 girls, I ended up playing with George all the time. And because I've always thought of him as a big brother, I still call him Aniki today.
しかしバトラ君は大きくなったな。男子3日を合わざれば刮目して待つべしとはよう言うたもんや。
やっぱり血かしらね。ルドルフも高校くらいまでは身長そんなになかったのよ。成長期が遅い方が最終的には伸びるのかもね。
んなことないっすよ。男は中身も伴わなくっちゃ。
Are you sure it's not all the performance enhancing drugs that you took?
そうや。
バトラ君は分かっとる。男は中身で勝負なんや。常に己の鍛錬を忘れたらあかん。そして虎視眈々とチャンスを待ってドカンと開花させるんや。わしもまさか今日会社社長なんて一国一城の主になれるとは思わんかった。
Sounds like he's flexing on us.
そうや。あの無一文の焼け野原がわしの原点なんや。
This portly and slightly chubby man is George Aniki's dad, Uncle Hideyoshi. He's the husband of Dad's older sister. I'm trying to piece the puzzle in my mind. So, George is my cousin from my dad's side, yes. Okay. In other words, we're not blood related. He's nice to children, sociable all the time, even quick to give out some spending money to us kids. Simply put, he's an awesome uncle. He speaks in an odd and very noticeable Kansai-style dialect, seemingly of his own creation, but he's actually a natural-born Kanto man. Apparently, leaving an impression is everything in this business world. So speaking in a different style than other people is an act that makes him stick out more. However, I hear that he gets embarrassed when talking within earshot of a real Kansai person, so he switches back to the standard Japanese. I don't really get it, but he's definitely an interesting person.
すぐ自分の自慢話に入っちゃうのがたまに傷なのよね。およしなさいな。バトラ君、耳にタコができちゃってるんだから。ねえ。
そんなことねえっすよ。でも、いいじゃないっすか。語れる武勇伝があるってのは、男としてかっこいいことだと思いますよ。俺なんか、語るような話は何もないっすからね。
Well, you have your height to brag about.
あら、そう？バトラ君なんか、そのルックスでいっぱい女の子を泣かせてそうだから、さぞかし武勇伝が多そうだと思ったんだけど。
うわあ、情報弾じゃないっすよ。そんな妙な武勇伝あるわけないじゃない。むしろ紹介してほしいくらいっす。
あら、あるんでしょ、武勇伝。おばさんにも後で教えてね。ジョージったら、そういう浮ついた話が全然ないんだから。
This is my aunt and George Aniki's mother, Auntie Eva. She's my dad's older sister. Eva or Eva? She and Uncle Hideyoshi are a pair of jokers, and they've always teased me back as far as I can remember. This sometimes made them a bit hard to get along with when I was small. That said, I'm currently in the process of discovering that they still are hard to get along with. Even so, George Aniki's family is interesting and fun, and they seem to get along just fine. Sheesh, that's pretty much the opposite of my family.
バトラ君、ルドルフさんを見なかった？
あ、さっきお手洗いに行くのを見ましたけど、まだ出てこないんすか？こりゃ、ぽっくりいっちまったかな。ナムナムナムナム。
What is... Why?
自分のお父さんにそんな言い方はないでしょ？まあ、あの人のお手洗いが長いのは今に始まったことじゃないしね。
ああ、あんにゃろは昔っからそうです。雑誌持ってトイレに入るのやめてほしいんすよね。何の雑誌持ち込んで何をしてんだか。
あら、そんな心配は全然不要よ。私と一緒にいる以上、そんなこと一人でさせやしないもの。
His face.
なんの話か。後でじっくり聞きたいっすね。
Do you really want that from your parents?
親父め、玉まで握られてグーの音も出ないわけだ。
握っとかないとどういうことになるか、よーくわかってるでしょ？
いやいや、まったく。あのクソ親父の手綱は、キリエさんにしか無理っすよ。 実の息子の俺も喜んで譲っちゃいますわ。
ええ、任せてちょうだい。そういうの得意なのよ。
This woman is my dad's wife. Her name is Ushiromiya Kieri. Or Kiri? As you can probably tell from our conversation, she's not my real mother. She's basically my stepmother. My real mom died 6 years ago. Fri Sun is the woman my dad married afterwards. I mean, I'm not a kid anymore. It's way too late now for me to start calling his second wife mom. And I doubt she feels like using the word son on this massive kid who's no relation to her at all. We aren't little kids. We know there's nothing to be gained by fighting. So we decided that we wouldn't force ourselves to pretend that we were family. I've decided to act a bit more frank with her, as though she's a friendly neighbor instead. It's much easier to just keep a little distance instead of forcing ourselves to act all close and making each other uncomfortable. Kiri-san has been very open about all this, and thanks to that, we've been able to get along pretty well. As we were capitalizing on Dad being away in the bathroom to badmouth him, the man himself came back, wiping his hands with a handkerchief. Now that's not what I expected his dad to look like.
バトラー？
なんだよ、親父。
What?
耳つねんな、耳。
また母さんと俺の悪口を言ってたろ。なんでお前には父親に対する尊敬の念ってやつがわかねえんだ？
I think the voice acting in this series is so good.
いでよ、クソ親父。俺の耳伸ばしたって空は飛べねえぞい。
ほれほれ、縦縦横横丸書いて逆に回して倍率どんどんさらに2倍。
Is this a game or something?
お父様、失礼なこと言ってごめんなさいって言ってみろ。
冗談じゃねえぜ。そういうのは会員制のお店でやりやがれってんだ。だから話せって。
This old bastard is my dad. I think I'm pretty tall, but Dad's about the same height. It's probably no surprise that Auntie Eva started talking about Dad's blood when she saw my height. By the way, my height isn't the only thing I got from him. It seems having weird names run in the family. Dad's full name is written... Can you read it? No. Not many could, I'll tell you that. That mess of characters is pronounced Rudolph. Seriously? He must hate grandfather for giving him that name. Still, that's no reason to pass that weird name tradition on to me. Yeah, George got a decent, normal-sounding name. As the old bastard twisted my ears all over the place, Auntie Eva or Eva snuck up behind him and grabbed his ear.
こらこらルドルフ、息子に乱暴してるんじゃないわよ。
言ってよ姉貴。
The scene before me was a perfect realization of the trope of the older sister who deals out punishment to her prankster younger brother despite his size.
エヴァ姉さん、そのくらいにしてあげてください。
Okay, she says Eva, so I'm gonna say Eva too.
同じ分、後で反対の耳を私が引っ張って伸ばしておきますので。
あら、ごめんなさいね。キリエさんの引っ張る分も残しておかなくっちゃ。ルドルフ、後でたっぷりキリエさんにお仕置きしてもらいなさいね。
たく、姉貴こそ弟いじめもいいとこだぜ。秀吉兄さんもこんな姉貴を拾ってくれて本当にありがとうございます。兄さんの寛大さがなかったら今でもまだ売れ残ってますよ。弟として申し訳ないです。
Slap him.
誰が売れ残るって？
After taking 2 or 3 steps back, Auntie Eva unleashed one of her beautiful high reverse roundhouse kicks, which stopped just a centimeter away from the tip of Dad's nose. After staring out with Tai Chi Chuan for her figure, Auntie Eva had then developed an interest in the Chinese martial arts. After that, she went through karate, taekwondo, I can't pronounce that. And what is it she's learning now again? Well, anyway, they say a woman's weapons are in her lower body, and that's literally true for Auntie Eva.
ルドルフ、側頭部直撃だと一発で混沌するわよ。この間演舞でミスって相方泡吹いちゃったんだからね。
Well, it's nice to know that she is capable of handling any opponents.
いやいや、足癖の悪い姉貴で本当に申し訳ないです。
Dad, completely unfazed, shrugged and smiled ironically at Uncle Hideyoshi.
わしには兄弟がおらん。だからエヴァとルドルフ君のじゃれ合いを見とると胸がポカポカしてくるんや。兄弟や家族はほんまにええもんやな。
あら、ジョージ君に弟を作ってあげるという話はないんですか？もうジョージ君も立派な大人になって手も離れたでしょうから。次。
おいおいキリエ、生まれてくる子の苦労も考えてやれよ。よくこの性悪姉貴から生まれて、ジョージ君はあんなにもまっすぐ育ってくれたもんさ。本当にジョージ君は偉いな。うちのボンクラに今度爪の赤を分けてやってくれよ。
そんなことないわよ。エヴァ姉さんの教育が間違ってなかったから、ジョージ君はあんなに素直ないい子になったんだから。ですよね、姉さん。
あらあら、そんな。どうかしら。うちのジョージもまだまだ頼りなくって。そうそう。それよりお宅のエンジちゃんはどんな具合なの？吐いちゃったって聞いたけど。
そうやそうや。久しぶりに顔が見れると思って期待してたんやで。
There's another one?
大丈夫なんか？
いつも季節の変わり目に風邪をひくんです。どうも弱くって。本当は連れてきたかったんですけど、今回は私の実家に面倒見てもらっています。
それが賢明よ。本家の毒気に当てない方が治りは早いもの。大人の都合より子供の病気の方が大事よ。
わしな、吐く風邪によう効く薬知っとんや。帰ったらすぐ送るさかい、使うてくれや。
ありがとうございます、秀吉兄さん。いつもお世話になりっぱなしで。
And once the conversation suddenly veered off in that direction, we kids didn't have any chance of butting in. For now, I'm just happy that Auntie Eva gave Dad his just desserts for tugging on my ear.
まだ天候調査中がなくならないね。
George Aniki pointed at the counter. The pending weather clearance sign was still stuck next to the scheduled departure time for the flight we were scheduled to board. According to Aniki, smaller planes are more subject to winds and other effects of the weather. And it's not at all uncommon for flights to be delayed because of that. Wait a sec. It isn't really gonna shake, is it? From down here on the ground, it just looks cloudy, not windy. Well, I guess it's different up where the planes fly.
ちょっと天気が怪しいものね。
Auntie Eva was looking at a TV in the lounge. The weather forecast was being broadcast, informing us that a typhoon was approaching the Kanto region.
また台風か。親族会議が毎年10月ってんじゃ。
Family
これは宿
conference?
命だぜ。もうちょい時期を選んでくれりゃいいのによ。
どうかね。私もお盆の時期にやってくれればっていっつも思うわよ。
I just realized something, but like both of them have those like wing, feather kind of imagery on their outfits. I wonder if that has any significance, but who knows?
ならルドルフ、それ今回の会議でお父様と兄さんに提案してみればいいじゃない。
冗談。姉貴が言えよ。俺が何を言っても兄貴は聞かねえよ。
いやよ。私は別に10月でも困らないもの。ルドルフが台風が嫌だからって言うから提案したらって言っただけよ。
俺は台風が来るのはいつものことだなって言っただけだろ。お盆の時期がいいって言い出したのは姉貴だぜ。
あら、去年ルドルフも言ったわよ。お盆の時期なら仕事のスケジュールとも合わせやすいのにって。
No, I can't tell if they're like just joking and getting along well, or if they actually hate each other. The way they speak is just confusing me.
言ってねえだろ、そんなことよ。
言ったわよ。私、そういうのは絶対忘れないもん。
いや、言ってねえよ。言ってんのはいつも姉貴だよ。
知ってる？寸止めって高等技術なのよ。
チッ、いい年した女がはしたないことばっかしてんじゃねえぜ。
Dad and Auntie Eva's argument looks no different from a couple of brats bickering.
普段は父親や母親として振る舞っていても、こうして親族会議で元の兄弟に出会うと、子供の頃の自分に戻っちゃうからだろうね。
I think the most important thing here we have to explain is, what is a family conference? I have never heard of one.
と、冷静に分析できるジョージ兄貴の方がずっと大人に見えるぜ。俺は将来、あんなクソ親父みたいにはなりたくないに。なるなら、兄貴みたいな知的な大人になりたいもんだぜ。
僕かい？僕なんかまだまださ。社会経験が全然足りないし、社交性も度胸も足りない。バトラ君には、それらのいくつかがすでにあるように思うよ。
Thanks to his performance-enhancing drugs.
だからきっと、成人したら僕なんかすぐに追い抜いちゃうさ。
George Aniki scratched his head and laughed, as though trying to hide his embarrassment. Of course, he was just being humble. Aniki entered a university and became an apprentice at Uncle Hideyoshi's company at the same time, studying both academics and how to become a business emperor in parallel. Well, you could also say it's nepotism. Then, right after graduating, he got into Uncle Hideyoshi's company as his father's aide, piling up a lot of real-life experience as he devoted himself zealously to his work. He even has grand dreams of one day standing on his own and becoming lord of his own domain. Aniki is a real paragon of a man, sparing no effort as he strives towards his goal. It's no exaggeration to say that I really respect him. And then there's me. I'm nothing at all like Aniki. I'm living my happy-go-lucky, idle high school life to the max. I've got no dreams for the future. I'd like to just sit back, stay cool, and let the money flow in. But of course, that could never happen. When Aniki was my age, he had already formed an impressive objective and had started devoting himself towards studying for that goal. So I guess I can't compare at all. My dad just says, "Sure, you can study at my company if you like cleaning toilets." Damn it, I'm not gonna be in the debt of that old bastard. I'll find my way myself. I guess that intensity is one qualification towards adulthood. Should I go on one of those self-searching journeys that are all the rage these days? Well, it's not like I could mooch off my parents for that kind of money.
Oh!
Right then, Uncle Hideyoshi shouted out loudly. Uncle's a really nice person on the whole, but he does have a problem controlling the volume of his voice. When I looked over, I saw that he was greeting Auntie Rosa, who had come late.
おおおお、ローザさんやないか。マリアちゃん、久しぶりやの。
久 久しぶり。
マリア、お久しぶりです。でしょ？言ってごらん。
お久しぶりです。
They also have the same image on their clothes. Well, except for Hideyoshi, but maybe it's because he's not directly related to the family? I don't know.
そうや。よく言えたな。ご褒美に飴玉あげような。あれ、どこにしまったんや。
ローザさん、お久しぶりです。マリアちゃんもお久しぶり。
ご無沙汰してます、キリエ姉さん、秀吉兄さん。大きくなったわね。
いやー今日は会うたびに言われてて恥ずかしいっすよ。
おう、ローザ。遅かったな。飛行機がダイヤ通りだったらギリギリってとこだったぞ。
ごめんなさい。列車の接続がうまくいかなくて。何？また天候調査中なの？
ぼやかないぼやかない。船で6時間も揺られるくらいなら飛行機でほんの30分の方がずっとマシよ。たとえ1時間余計に待たされたって全然早いんだから。
マリアちゃんも大きくなったで。今身長いくつあるんや？
身長いくつあるんや。
Maria parroted Uncle Hideyoshi's question, looking up at her mother. I guess she doesn't remember her own height, and she's got that cute little crown at the top of her head. She's probably right in the middle of a growth spurt, so her height must change every month. In just a few more years, she'll probably start looking very feminine.
この間の身体測定でいくつって出たっけ？これでも少しずつは伸びてるんですよ。ねえ。
去年よりもずっと成長したと思いますよ。今年で9歳でしたっけ？
9歳。
Why does she keep saying that? Tacking it on at the end of every line.
そうだね。9歳だね。マリアちゃんも元気そうでよかった。よいしょ。もう高い高いをするにはちょっと重くなってきたかな。
うわ、ジョージ兄貴、そりゃレディーに失礼だろ。俺がやってやるぜ。高い高い。
She looks like she's gonna cry. When I went to lift her up in Aniki's place, Maria stiffened defensively, staring suspiciously at my face. Ah, that's right. I got plastic surgery. Okay, I'm just kidding. The last time I met Maria, it was 6 years ago, and she was only 3 years old. Of course, she doesn't remember my face.
マリアちゃん
years ago.
覚えてる？バトラ君よ。一緒に遊んでもらったの忘れちゃった？
無理だろ。
She's suspicious of me.
最後にバトラと会ったのは3つの時だぜ。3つの時の記憶なんか残ってねえよ。
She must know everyone's face apart from mine because she meets them every year. But I haven't had contact with the Ushiromiya family for about 6 years now. So it's no surprise that this 9-year-old girl doesn't have any memories of me. Even I can only just barely remember her being a 3-year-old crybaby.
マリア、バトラお兄ちゃんよ。ルドルフおじさんの息子さん。わかる？
おじさんの息子さんが、おじさんが息子さん。
That was me when I was trying to come up with a family tree in my head. That ooh was probably the sound of her brain breaking, unable to understand the complicated explanation. I guess it was a bit too confusing for her.
マリアちゃん、彼はバトラ君。僕と同じいとこだよ。
That's easier to explain.
庄司お兄ちゃんと同じバトラ？いとこ？
そう、 よくできたね。
This part of Aniki is what makes me really look up to him. For someone who isn't married, he's just great at dealing with kids. I'm sure that he'll be an indulgent father in the future.
バトラ、お兄ちゃん
Maria looked straight at me with a questioning expression, as though asking whether it was alright to call me that.
おうよ、俺がバトラだ。よろしくな、マリア。
こらマリア、呼びつけちゃダメでしょ。バトラお兄ちゃんと呼びなさい。
いいっすよ、ローザおばさん。細かいことは気にしないっすから。まあマリア、俺とお前は名前を呼びつけ合う仲だもんな。
バトラバトラバトラ
I think he'll be good with kids too.
おうよ、マリアマリアマリア。
What happened? We horsed around for a while to make up for the 6-year gap in our friendship. She probably still thinks of me as nothing more than a big new friend, but things probably work out as we get to know each other again. But I'm surprised. She's just the way I remembered her being 6 years ago. Seems that people just don't change that much after all. I'm a bit happy that she's still the pure, innocent girl I remember. Her name is written... That one's not so difficult to read. Of course, it says Maria. The third character looks like a cross, which is pretty cool. Her feelings don't usually show up on her face, so it can be difficult to know just what she's thinking. But that's just how she looks on the outside. On the inside, she's just a sweet, normal girl. Then there's Maria's mother, Auntie Rosa. She's my dad's younger sister. Rosa is written... Here's a name that's totally not Japanese. Sorry to say, but her name's almost as ridiculous as Dad's. I've got to respect her for not ending up as screwed up as he is. If I'm not wrong, like the characters in your name are literally pronounced as they are in English? That's what I'm thinking. When I think about it, all the names in my family sound foreign. Just why is grandfather so obsessed with this? Could it be because of that pact he made with that witch? Because of him, even us grandchildren have to put up with this weird naming sense. It's even more annoying since grandfather's own name is perfectly normal. Anyway, there's one thing about Auntie Rosa that's a relief compared to the other family members. The old bastard and Auntie Eva have this annoying urge to tease and mock people all the time. But even though she shares their blood, Auntie Rosa isn't like that at all. She's the most common sense among all the siblings. Like Uncle Hideyoshi, she's a kind aunt who'll always be on the kid's side. However, possibly because she's more strict as a parent, she's not liberal with handing out spending money like Uncle Hideyoshi is. Alright, now we have the entire group of family members who are going to board the plane. Okay, so that's one older sister, younger brother, younger sister, and then they have an oldest brother who is possibly with their father over there already. As though he had waited for us to all gather, an announcement rang through the lobby.
お待たせしました。新島行き201便の搭乗をこれより開始いたします。ご搭乗のお客様はカウンター前の白線前に2列でお並びください。
ロザ、搭乗手続きまだだろ。急げ急げ。
いけない。マリア、いらっしゃい。
We had to go through a metal detector before going out on the runway. Our small plane wasn't as massive as an international flight, but it was still a plane. A staff member holding out a metal detector checked us all. Once all of us cleared the check, we followed the staff member out onto the runway. Come to think of it, everyone here is in the Ushiromiya family. It's like this is a reserved charter flight or something. Our group stopped in front of the entrance to the airplane. Then, our guide turned around and spoke, looking down at the passenger list as she did.
それではこれよりご登場となります。名簿をお読み上げいたしますので、前方の座席、右側から順に右、左、次の列の右、左と詰めてお座りになってください。それではお読み上げいたします。後宮秀吉様。
わしからか？はい。そうだ、エヴァ。飴玉あるか？
Wait. I just realized, but if he's Ushiromiya too, then that means that he married into Auntie Eva's family, which is kind of unusual, right? Because usually it will be the wife who takes the husband's name, especially in Japan. This is something interesting, I think.
さっきから探してるんだが見つからないんや。
後宮エヴァ様。
ハンドバッグの中よ。機内に入ったら出すわ。
I've heard that candies are a good way to protect your ears from hurting due to variations in atmospheric pressure when landing or taking off. Or, Butler can also ask his dad to pull his other ear to make it hurt more. That's probably what they're talking about.
俺の席
大丈夫だよ。窓際席しかないもん。
According to George Aniki, there are apparently only 2 lines of seat. Yeah, it's a small plane, alright. Isn't really going to shake, is it?
後宮ジョージ様。
はい、大丈夫だよ、バトラ君。あんまり揺れないから。
後宮バトラ様。
兄貴、あんまりってどのくらいだよ。船から落ちても泳げるからいいが、飛行機が落ちたらそれでおしまいなんだぜ。もちろん客席にはパラシュートがあるんだろ。ねえの？
後宮ルドルフ様。
ほらバトラ、感動してねえでとっとと奥行け。
言って親父。おさってパラシュートがねえんだよ。
Maybe he should bring his own next time.
後宮桐江様。ほら、仲良くじゃれてないの。進む。
言ってよキリエ。押すなって。ボンクラが進まねえんだよ。
後宮マリア様。
進む。
後宮ローザ様。
こらマリア、静かにしなさい。
こちらは機長の川端です。本日は新東京航空201便をご利用いただき誠にありがとうございます。新島空港までは約20分のフライトの予定です。上空の気流が乱れているとの報告が入っています。多少の揺れがあるかもしれませんので、離陸後もシートベルトは外さないようにお願いいたします。
兄貴、シートベルト外しちゃいけない揺れってなんだよ。ジャンボ機なら離陸後はシートベルト外せるぜ。それが外しちゃいけないってどんな揺れだよ。くそー、騙された。何が揺れないだ。パラシュートどこだよ。やっぱり俺は船が良かった。
Butler is such a personality. Legend of the Golden Witch. You know what? What's happening? Why are their names flashing on the screen like this? There's Natsuhi. Oh, so many Ushiri. Oh, Kinzo. Oh. Okay, so Kinzo is their father, possibly? Right? Like the one that we saw in the beginning who was drinking that weird green alcohol. So many characters. And I guess his foolish children are Butler's parents and aunts and uncle. Although I think like Rosa looks or seems decent. Rondo of the Witch and Reasoning. I guess that lady here is the witch? Okay, I'm gonna end here for today. Let me know your thoughts on this series in the comments down below. I'll see you next time and bye!